Well, I'm going to introduce the last speaker of the first slot of the day, then we're going to have a little break. Our speaker is Julien Chouteau. Julien Chouteau works for Meetic, a leading European dating site. Meetic participated last year at the Digital Sustainability Challenge, which is a 3 month period where we help teams to get better at sustainability. And they even won the Bronze Award. And now, less than a year later, we have a top manager talking about digital sustainability, which is brilliant. Thank you, Julien, for sharing this experience with us. Hello.
Hello, thank you. Thank you for having me today. I am Julien Chouteau, so I'm a finance director for Meetic Europe. I work at Meetic. We are a 20-year-old tech company, expert in online dating, and present in Western Europe under several brands. The main ones being Meetic or Match as well. So I'm gonna quickly introduce the topic of how we are developing our sustainability strategy. So at Meetic, we have sustainability at heart. It's not a new thing to us. It's in everyone's mind. It started by a sum of initiatives from a bunch of employees at Meetic. It's been then embodied by our new CEO starting in 2019, 2 years ago, two years and a half ago. And we accelerated in terms of strategy, and I will go into the details just after, in a pragmatic and modest way. So it's a humble approach we're taking. There is no greenwashing at all. And we are convinced that our sites and apps are where we can have the biggest impact when it comes to sustainability. And as a CFO, I also personally think it can be a win-win. Because I think that such strategy can be beneficial to our consumers and thus to our business and financial performance. The impact we can have is on our millions of users in Europe through our sites and apps. So just a bit of history here. Our move to a more sustainable activity started in 2016 with some small initiatives, I would say. We started with the easiest and visible actions with a concrete impact, such as sorting waste or eco-responsible lunches. We were willing to be more even environmentally friendly when it comes to lunches. We also got rid of, so it's a fun example. We also got rid of plastic cups for drinks and coffees in the office. As an example, that we are about 250 in the office. We were using like 60,000 plastic cups a year. That's the equivalent of a small meeting room in volume. It was a nonsense. So we got rid of that. That's just a funny example of the actions. Energy savings in our offices, of course, energy saving from our equipments, carbon emission of our equipment, setting up a community of people with some time to structure and move forward on their actions. But this only concerned a small piece of our carbon footprint as a company. Then in 2018 and 2019, we structured our actions a bit more. We created a dedicated team with experts from different departments to manage our actions. We communicated more internally, of course, more and more. We mobilized everyone. We encouraged people to act here and there to have an impact, and we also started to calculate and estimate our carbon footprint, and we evaluate our priorities since then. Priorities are definitely around the end user device, the carbon footprint of our end user device. This is where we have the biggest footprint, and so we can have the biggest impact. 2020, 2021, the last 2 years, we accelerated significantly. We do measure our carbon footprint, and we refine it, we improve it along the way, month after month. We commit to improve and reduce our carbon footprint. Basically, we commit to try and do a reduction of 10% of our carbon footprint every year. That's basically the outcome of the Accord de Paris of 2015. So 10% carbon footprint per year starting last year. This is what we try to do to comply with this, and we are happy to do that. And it becomes also, that's the biggest story, it becomes part of the tech and product key strategic stakes, which we word like this: foster a performance and eco-conception culture. So we also structured our action in terms of governance and processes. We created a performance committee, and this performance committee consists in having all tech leads and gathering on a monthly basis to discuss about our performance and the improvements we can do about performance. It enables to have a transversal vision and animation of our end user application performance. And we also are entering in the process of being ISO 14001. ISO 14001 is a demanding norm which allows us to track all processes, identify all key stakeholders, and follow our actions. It's the source of all of our processes that we are now writing down, and it helps us to enter into a continuous improvement mode and have some numerical targets, such as the 10% reduction every year. Sorry. And as I mentioned, it became really part of the key stakes of the tech and product teams. So in 2021, we took big actions in the tech and product team. So earlier this year, as Sebastian mentioned, we took part of the Apidays Sustainable Challenge, where we set up a team. The team brainstormed, they attended to a lot of workshops, and they came out with concrete measures. So that's the number one, Apidays Sustainable Challenge, in order to come out with concrete measures for the future roadmap here at Meetic. Second is the performance workshops that I just mentioned in the previous slide in terms of governance. Third is a third-party audit. So with the help of an external company, we evaluated the carbon footprint of our front-end applications. We identified levers to reduce it. We assessed the opportunity to integrate eco-design in our project, and we drove awareness inside our tech and product teams. Number 4 is a hackathon. We did an eco hackathon around sustainability here. Half of the tech teams of Meetic did involve into this hackathon, which was a great success. And 8 ideas and projects came out in the end. That was a great moment of the year, and really going further into and deeper into our ideas and projects for more sustainability. And one of the outcome of our eco hackathon was a green tool that we named here, and that it is a project we are currently running. We think that you can't manage what you can't measure, so it starts with measuring. The green tool is using a combination of technologies that are already available internally, and it helps us to measure the eco performance of our sites and apps, and measure the impacts of any further change. So any A/B test we want to make, we would measure the impacts of it in terms of eco performance, and reassess and rework if needed. This is one of the biggest thing we will do in the next month. We are quite proud about it, and we now have a nice roadmap, and we elaborate concrete actions around sustainability. Next, to be continued, because it's just the beginning of the story, I think. First, we were pioneers in our group. We promoted our initiatives to our shareholders, to our group, which is the Match Group. And so they created lately a dedicated department in order to take action around the globe on all of our businesses. So we were kind of the first to tell them that we need to take action on that, and it's now taking a good step up on this. Second, we compensate and we offset. We started to offset our current carbon emissions. For instance, we financed the replanting of a forest. Positive impact on financial performance is really my key conviction as well, is that when it comes to digital sobriety, and if we move on eco-conception, eco-performance and everything, it will enable us to have a higher screen performance, so a higher performance of our apps, of our sites for the end users, so our front end on the front end side. It will also help to have less megabytes, less downloads, less app downloads, the session, less megabytes for downloads of pictures and everything. And in the end, it will make everything look faster and higher performance of our apps. It will enable us to have more interactions and activity on our websites and apps, and higher user satisfaction. We are quite convinced about that. And in the end, more conversion and revenue. So that's it for my presentation around the sustainability strategy. I hope you liked it and ready and happy to take some questions.
Thank you, Julien. We do have some questions. One of them is, have you managed to connect with your users about eco design, about any kind of environmental impact you're trying to do? Have you communicated with your user about that?
No, this is not something we communicate externally. To be frank. We do some product research on our users, but none of them have come on that topic. So no, it's not a thing we communicate externally a lot. It's more as an employer, because it's very important for a lot of people today, and most young people, and at Meetic we do hire some youngsters, young developers, and so they are quite happy that Meetic is going down that path of sustainability. So it's more important from an employer perspective than from a user perspective.
So you do talk about it when you recruit people. Have you seen any impact on recruitment thanks to your actions actually?
I can't tell that. I'm not the HR and the recruiter, but I know it's very important for the Gen Z and everything. So it's part of their arguments, of course, when we recruit.
Indeed. And I really like the idea of having the community of your people engaging in those actions, and you've started with, as you say, concrete examples of reducing your waste and everything, and now switching to the digital, and you've engaged in the digital sustainability challenge. It's really interesting. As you said, you mentioned the global communities. Have you started, because you mentioned that you were talking with the Match environment, have you managed to do build some bridges between the different practices, between your practice at Meetic and the practices at Match?
That's a good question. So as I mentioned, the group created a sustainability department with a head of sustainability now. And we are, yes, I am involved in a monthly, so there is a monthly sustainability committee where we do share all of our best practices and all of our actions, little and big, and all of our ideas. So yes, there is a community globally in the group, and we do gather on a monthly basis, and we do take actions. And some are the same, and some are very, very different. For instance, in California, they would talk about electric vehicles, chargers, and everything. So it's not the same in Paris, of course. But yes, we do have a committee where we share best practices, and we are kind of, as I mentioned, pioneers in that group. So we are sharing our strategy, and they are really curious about it. Yeah.
Sounds great. Do you have any feedbacks from your employees on this program? Have you tried to get information from them about if they're really happy, or if it's difficult for them to get involved? Have you done any studies about that?
Actually, I think they are all happy. Some of them in the community of people that are taking actions really strongly. Most of them are voluntary employees. They are willing to take actions, so they are taking part of their role very seriously. And they, of course, they engage everyone around them. And most of them, again, are in the tech teams. Whether they are developers, tech leads, or project managers. They are helping acting on eco-conception, but they are also infrastructure managers and IT operations teams for data centers. So a bunch of people, and they are all happy to take action on that, because it's just part of the normal evolution of the world, we believe. Yeah.
And it's easier for anybody to start taking actions when you see people around you, making little progresses and little steps, because I think we all need to do our little steps before we move to a bigger agenda. It's very interesting that you managed to do that at your level. And as I said at the beginning, I'm really impressed that you as a CFO come to talk to us about that, talk to everybody around us, to talk about your initiatives. And that's very, very interesting to see that. I'm running out of questions now. I don't know if you wanted to add a little bit more. We have a bit longer on the stage if you wanted to talk more about your initiatives. And I had some questions about your role as a CFO, but I think it might be a bit indiscreet, so I might not ask you too much about that, because we always think about the cost. You mentioned it really quickly, but do you have anything else to talk about the fact that as a CFO you do this?
Yeah. As a CFO, I do this. In the executive committee, I would be the one account responsible for this strategy, for the building of this strategy. So I am working with all the teams on a weekly, monthly basis to engage and move forward. I can also talk about the way we measure carbon footprint, for instance, quickly, because I think it can be of interest. So I mentioned we were helped by a company, and they helped us build a methodology around the way we calculate carbon footprints for the end user device. So for the impact of our sites and apps with our users, down to our users. Just roughly, very quickly, this methodology consists in evaluating the average weight in megabytes, so average weight of a session of users on our sites and apps, and the weight also of apps downloads. So we started with evaluating this average weight of our sessions. Then we allocate this weight by country, because consumption of electricity has not the same carbon footprint in every country. It can be very, very different. So we allocate this weight by country, and we convert. So we convert from megabytes to electricity consumption in kilowatts by hour, and then we convert it again to tons equivalent CO2 by market again, because it's really, really not the same impact. And we refine it. So we fine tune this calculation. It doesn't have to be precise from day one. You just go with the first estimate, and then you calculate it more precisely with the methodology. So don't be afraid of calculating your carbon footprint roughly. it's just a start, and then you refine it along the way across the years, and you come to a conviction that you can take action on it.
Sounds great. So you've added any KPIs around, as you say, carbon footprint in all the initiatives that you have?
Yeah. This is exactly on our roadmap to be able to add that to our initiatives. Yeah.
Yeah, I like the fact that you said that, of course, right now it's rough because we are still in the progress of we're learning how to measure better. So we know it's going to be rough. I also like the idea that you're from this roughness, basically, you're trying to see if it's going up and down, just, has anything that you're doing as an employee, as a project manager, as a developer, as a UX designer, and anybody can help. So it's great to see right away that you've done your share and you can learn more and more. I really appreciate it.
Exactly.
Well, thank you, Julien. Thank you.